Madhur sir, first of all, let me thank you for coming over to our show at a short notice. I know we spoke in the morning, and then you just agreed for an impromptu meeting at 3, and then we agreed at 5, which is very good actually. And this is the best turnaround time actually I've got it from anywhere. And this is also probably shows that you are very good at your turnaround time, whereas marketers are blamed for coming at giving a very slow turnaround time.
Yeah.
That's one thing. So I see, sir, that you have worked in various organizations. Currently, you're heading at marketing at Manipal Health Group as well. So if you could let us know, if you could take us through your journey, that would be helpful. I want people to know about your journey, and then probably I'll come and ask you questions. All the questions that I'm also seeing from Instagram as well.
So thank you, Sachin. I guess it's always been exciting, to talk to like-minded people. And so as you mentioned that I worked. So it's around 18 years of journey now in corporate world, wherein
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky to work in various pharma companies, like Pfizer and Biocon. And then I moved to your healthcare sector, wherein I
Mm-hmm.
spent my large portion of time with the Wokhard, which became Manipal Hospital. And then there was a stint when I moved to Philippines, and I was doing the business development part for Globe Telecom. So the health
Mm-hmm.
tech, because telecoms also they have the healthcare, agriculture, automotive, like these kind of verticals. So I was heading their healthcare vertical,
Oh
and
wow.
so I had the opportunity to build up three companies for them. And
Mm-hmm.
from there, I was, always that passion was there to start my own startup. And again, in the technology, health tech world, I started my own company, post which I actually came back to the corporate world. So in addition to this, if you see this is my corporate journey. In
Yeah.
Other than that, my education, I did my master's program from AIM Philippines,
Okay.
and I also did my 6 months brand management program from ESSEC Paris and
Okay.
IIM Ahmedabad. It was a joint program.
That's
In
great,
addition to
sir.
that, there were many other executive management programs which I was part of. So,
That's great.
so largely,
So, yeah. So, just to continue from there, sir, I have seen that your profile hovers around mostly into healthcare sector, right? Hospitals and then
yes.
companies related to that. Was that it? Like you have thought and made your career into that, like, or it just came by and you took it just because your first job was into elder pharmaceuticals. That's why.
No, so it was a largely, I mean, in my mind, it was somewhere there that I want
Mm-hmm.
to spend or build my career in healthcare. And the thought actually, built when I was doing my graduation in microbiology. So,
Okay.
in fact, before graduation, I was not pretty sure because there were multiple options. In fact, I was
Mm-hmm.
selected for hotel management in Switzerland, and I was about to go there. Due to my internal issues, I could not go there. And that's when I
Mm-hmm.
chose to join PSC microbiology. But I think after that, I was very clear that I'll continue to spend my time in this sector, because my belief that
Okay.
time was that how you utilize your knowledge which you have
Mm-hmm.
gained in your
Mm-hmm.
corporate experience.
That's great. So you got that opportunity to go to Switzerland to hotel management after your 12th standard.
After my 12th standard, yes. So
Okay.
I
And
was
then you
so
go.
hotel management was one of the area which I was looking, and
Mhm.
that particular college in Switzerland was amongst the top 10 hotel management college in
Okay.
the world. So
Mhm.
in fact, it was
That's great.
ranked around fifth.
Okay, that's great. And coming back to this one, so now coming back to your career, now you started with elder healthcare, and then you went to Biocon, and then Fortis Healthcare, Yashoda Hospitals, Fortis Healthcare, and then you had your own startup as well. And then you came back, joined Sitecare Cancer Hospitals, and now you are at Manipal Health, right? So how was the journey? What did you learn from the day one? It's an 18-year journey, so definitely digital marketing was not the part when you started back then. Strategy were different, the thinking patterns were different. Not much of what do you call strategy sessions. It's just follow someone else what your competition is doing or come up with something that you haven't done. It was more traditional way. So how did you do marketing in those days?
So you rightly said, Sachin, because those days, uh, I would say the marketing basics can never change. But when you see marketing, it was more conventional marketing, what we can say now, because I never
Mm-hmm.
had any guy in my team who was looking for digital marketing. So we had a
Mm-hmm.
brand manager, we had a PR manager, we had
Mm-hmm.
a BTL activity manager. We had people who used to do
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood activities, separate people, right?
Okay.
But we never had a
Okay.
person who was looking on digital. In fact, it was
Mm-hmm.
largely dependent on the agencies because website
Mm-hmm.
was something which was there those days when I started. So
Mm-hmm.
there used to be website. So if you launch any product, you need to have a web page where some information is there. But largely from a marketing perspective, not much happened. So then slowly we started seeing that, because in healthcare, one of the biggest challenges, our spillover is very high. If you
Mm-hmm.
see in pharma, our challenge is that our customers are doctors, not the general consumer. In healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
our challenge is that people travel to their hospital, which is close by, if it is good. So the distance is
Exactly.
something which is, very critical. So if I
Mm-hmm.
am in Bangalore and one hospital is there, and if I do any traditional ad, which is say in TOI or any newspaper, it goes to a larger audience, and I really don't want to. So I end up wasting my money. Whereas digital
Mm-hmm.
marketing, and then second challenges were that if you put a hoarding out there, if you do any kind of ad, what are the returns? How many people have come really because of that? And then there was a
Mm-hmm.
time that healthcare, I guess, the early adoption we could see, unlike FMCG and all that, in
Mm-hmm.
healthcare, there was early adoption of healthcare intervention, sorry, this digital intervention, I
Okay.
would say, not a proper marketing.
Yeah.
And then when we saw this, we then started hiring people who were specifically for digital. So then, your website, how do we improve SEOs? How do we start featuring on top? And that was the
Mm-hmm.
primary objective. And that's when we started. So largely on content, we used to spend money. So out of total
Mm-hmm.
marketing budget,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm talking roughly around 10 to 12 years back, our spend was out of marketing budget, 3% we used to put it on digital marketing.
Okay. Okay.
So, and today it is around
What,
35
so it has grown at least by 100 times, 10,
by
100
100.
times.
So today it is on an average, I would say it is around 35% our budget goes for
Okay.
digital marketing.
That's right. So what was digital when you started early? As you said, a digital intervention, the adoption. So
So
what was
early
digital
days,
then like?
yes. So early days, it was largely on website, largely on blogs, largely on,
Mm-hmm.
I would say, very initial trends when we saw, if I say 10, 15, 10 years back, the early days
Mm-hmm.
of Twitter, early days of, social media engagement is so
Facebook.
a Facebook, very early stage. But we didn't have. So what was happening those days, if you see the difference today, is that whatever we were preparing for offline content, right, we were
Mm-hmm.
pasting the same thing on digital content.
Digital
So
platform.
if I have created one ad, which is a magazine ad, I will just paste the
Mm-hmm.
same JPEG in my Facebook or in my any other. So there was
Mm-hmm.
no channel specific strategy, I wouldn't say,
Okay.
because today we have channel specific. We don't do social media strategy. We have a Facebook strategy, we have an Insta strategy, we have a LinkedIn strategy. So these are
Twitter
very channel
strategy.
specific strategy. We Twitter strategy is different. So we have moved to very different kind of digital focus today, what we were in early
Mm-hmm.
days. So early
Mm-hmm.
days was broad. If I have to put in one sentence, it is about reach of my
Mm-hmm.
offline. What if I can
Mm-hmm.
extend that reach to
My
many more people
online
through digital channel?
through digital. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Now you have seen the post digital era and pre digital era, right? Both the sides, right? You could say
Yes.
that. Yeah. So what has been the difference in terms of reach? Like you said that if you had to reach a certain audience in time in TOI or any newspaper that you had to publish, it would have been a little difficult because they would not offer that such kind of filters in traditional media. But in digital, you have certain filters where you exactly want to target. So your targeting has become much more specific, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
So
and the
what has happened?
ROI, and you can
Yeah.
go
So what has
ahead.
happened is that early days, early days, it was there was no concept of ROI, I would say. I mean, though ROI is not the right terminology, but
Mm-hmm.
what kind of returns I get on from my spend, it was not
Mm-hmm.
very clear when it comes to branding activities. And what digital marketing has really brought in latter half and is was we were able to started
Mm-hmm.
see the result that what is the my return on every penny which I am spending. But if you see today it has moved to a completely different level, right? So today, I mean, I'll just give you one example, and there is a lot to talk on this subject. One example,
Mm-hmm.
if I have to give you that, even today, actually, if you ask to many marketers and ask them, do you know your customer? Everyone will say yes. And if you ask them, what do you know about them? They will tell you that I know their consumer behavior. I know the purchasing, pattern what they have on my platform. So when a
Mm-hmm.
customer comes to me, what they buy at my place, that is what I can tell. But if
Mm-hmm.
you, because of digital marketing, now you got their mobile number, you know their Facebook habits and all that. Now, actually, what they do outside of your company, you can actually tell that also. So those tools which are kind of still in development phase, many tools, and there are many tools which are already out there. So today we are not,
Mm-hmm.
so people who come to us, actually today we are not 100%, but we have the ability to tell how many people like to going to Starbucks, how many people love to go to Cafe Coffee Day. So the accuracy may not be
Mm-hmm.
100%, but at least we know that the consumer behavior, outside my hospital is what. So what kind of people are coming to my place, and because of that, the implication of service strategy you can understand. Now I know this consumer is
Yeah,
going to certain kind of places, they would expect a similar service at my place also, right?
exactly. No, let me give the make it simple for viewers to understand. If sir is in a hospital and he's not designing a strategy only for the patients to come to his hospital, there are a lot of people who will accompany the patients. So let's say you will have a Starbucks for coffee, you will have a certain confectionery stores or a medical store or a clothing store. You basically outsource it. So
Yes.
you have done a complete 360-degree marketing. So when they reach hospital, it's just not for the treatment, but people are accompanying it. They have everything right from their food taken care to everything, and that is possible because of the digital methods that they have right now, including a part of big data or a lot of different things that are coming into play. Right, sir?
That's right. That's right. You're right. So it actually helps us to understand consumer behavior in a much, much better way. Because earlier the consumer
Mm-hmm.
behavior, to know the consumer behavior was FGDs or some form of interviews. Those researches were there, which is actually still a sample, right? And it really depends how much money you can spend. And your entire
Mm-hmm.
reliance on your strategy was dependent on that sample outcome, which actually helped
Mm-hmm.
us to really shift that understanding of the consumer, which is, I would say, still happening. It's not that, and it has a way to go because I was in another conference and the CIO of our this airlines, uh, the Tata's airlines, right? We want we,
Mm-hmm.
so what actually is happening today? If you see the robotic technology, I mean, robots are is the truth, right? In 5-10 years, they will do a lot of stuff. So robot technology is nothing but they are putting the AI into that. If you start
Mm-hmm.
consuming those same type of AIs and start putting in your kind of CRM platform, your marketing
Mm-hmm.
engagement shifts to totally different level. So from a healthcare perspective, if I have to share one example, that there are patients who undergo, say, cardiac surgery, and after 4 5 years, they have to check their patency graph, or they have to check their EFR, so that they are not at a high risk of heart failure. So AI can
Mm-hmm.
do this very well for you, right? You can just have to build some algorithms, and you can
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you reach out to these customers, not from not from engagement perspective, but also from a life-saving perspective. Today, if you say
Mm-hmm.
40% of all people who have had myocardial infarction at certain point of time, they die because of heart failure. Can we make this
Okay.
40% to 10%? Digital
Okay. Reduce the
marketing can
risk.
play a significant, reduce the
Yeah.
deaths, number of deaths. Because
That.
today, people who have undergone cardiac surgery or procedure,
Mm-hmm.
they are at a high risk of heart failure. And but
Wow.
the problem is today we don't follow up with those patients.
Exactly.
We can't do target marketing. But digital marketing helps us or allows us to build those algorithms that any person who has undergone this procedure 5 years back, they should get automatic WhatsApp message or emailer or educational message on their Facebook page that if
Mm-hmm.
you are facing these kind of symptoms, or do you know your EFR number? Everyone know their HDL, LDL number. Everyone know their
Mm-hmm.
BP, but not many people
Mm-hmm.
know EFR, which is very critical because if your EFR is in place, that
Mm-hmm.
person will not die because of heart failure. At least they will
Okay.
do proactive intervention. They can have ICD implant or they can have any other procedure to actually reduce or to improve their life. I mean, and this is one example. There are 1,000 examples like that. And digital marketing, and that's what, we keep saying, it is not only social media, it is not
Exactly.
only website. Digital marketing has a very,
SEO.
very large scope,
Yeah.
and that is what people who are entering in digital marketing space need to understand. And because it's massive even today, and if we look 2, 3 year, 4 year down the line, it's gonna be very, very massive because entire business strategies today
Mm-hmm.
is building upon digital initiatives. And as you
Mm-hmm.
asked me earlier, the shift what you have seen earlier, a product manager or a brand manager used to be very enthusiastic about digital initiative. But when you used to go to your senior management, they were never enthusiastic about that because they could never able to relate to that. Today it has reversed. The pressure is coming
Mm-hmm.
from investors. The pressure is coming from top management to see more and more digital initiative. And I think this
Mm-hmm.
shift itself is, showing the importance of digital marketing, vertical has grown, I would say, in all industries, because
Yes.
uh, not only in healthcare, because I speak to many friends from other industries, it has grown everywhere.
So, for people to make it simple, what Sir is talking is kind of a customer engagement, what we're talking right now, but it's from a point of view of taking care of them. So, you are sending them timely reminders. You had done this kind of surgery or this kind of treatment a long time back. If you follow up with this one, this will be better. And this is possible because of the data that is stored, which is also a part of digital, and then utilizing those data to connect with them through WhatsApp, through calls, through emails, or through letters, if possible, because there has to be some ways to reach them to make sure that they receive the message on time. Because life is more important than any of your privacy that matters at any given juncture. So they are trying to reach you, they're trying to help you out with this one. So that's how the hospitals, that's how the healthcare industry is building up the database to make sure that if there is even a 1% chance of saving yourself, they are there to help you out. And that's how they are planning, strategizing in terms of sending out the messages, in terms of reaching out to you guys, in terms of making sure that the message is passed on, so you can touch base with them to see if there is any questions or if there are any concerns that you want to clear it out, and they are always there for that. Right, sir?
That's right.
That's right. That's right, sir. So now, currently, I see you in a very large leadership role. I would not just say that leadership role; it's a large leadership role because you are a general manager for sales and marketing and other functions as well. So now, how are you handling the stress?
So, marketing was always my passion, and
Mm-hmm.
so I continued to enjoy my job in last 18 years. So, I would say that it's full of fun for me. So, stress is not there. So, I think what people take stress as that if there are some timelines or some tighter deadlines which we need to meet, how do we turn around them? And that's where they have to run quite a bit. And so that's one. Second is your the customer feedback, because more and more you see the digitization. People, it's not one way now. It's a C2C marketing, right? It's a customer to customer marketing today. Because if you have a good brand ambassador, he will go and appreciate your services on online, and then two, three more people will appreciate. If you got a bad service somewhere, people will people don't shy away to go and abuse you on any channel,
Hmm.
and that is where I think that is another level of stress which is nowadays there. So, so what we do is normally we have a very, on a daily basis kind of brainstorming sessions, and then, and it's a very well planned kind of initiative. But again, marketing is something which keeps on changing on a day-to-day basis. Like Corona, when it came, entire
Hmm.
marketing communication plan, entire everything got changed. And similarly, if there is any tactical thing which we need to change, it changes. And second thing is, connect with customer is very important again, because this last minute something comes which you don't expect, that you can reduce, minimize those chances if you are in touch with customers, if you know what they feel about your brand and all. So that actually helps. Other than that, your meditations and all definitely help. But exercise for me is something which is critical. Though because of
That's
lockdown,
good.
I'm not very active, but otherwise pretty active on exercise, which actually helps me to control
That's right.
my.
And how do you control these creative urges of people in your team? I'm sure there are people, there would be clashes within your team as well. Like my idea is better than your idea, and I've launched a fantastic campaign. People would be just walking in your cabin or just telling, "Sir, this is what is the best idea today," and then somebody else would walk in. So how do you control that? How do you handle that situation?
So we appreciate ideas coming in, and many of the times hit rate is not more than 10% actually, 10 to
Hmm.
15%. So I think most of the people, we know that it's not that any idea which goes can actually go to the consumer, but we
Hmm.
do discuss that idea in detail. If we need to park it for some time, why we are parking, if we are not taking this idea versus other idea, why it is happening, and uh, if we have to give certain measurement matrix, is that, say for example, my with one idea, which is also, so if I get two ideas, both are good ideas, but my
Hmm.
customer acquisition cost with one idea is better compared to this. So we have this, we don't have infinite money, right? We got same budget. So then let's go ahead with a better customer acquisition idea. And if my objective, say if there is a no tobacco day and our objective is to engage people, our idea is
Hmm.
not really to have any business, but what is the engagement? And there is one idea which actually shows that it can have better engagement. Again, those are subjective discussion, because there is no way you can prove which one will have better engagement. That is the time you have to take a certain judgment based on the discussion in that meeting. So that's
That's
how we
great.
do. But I think the expectations are very clear, and we got a mature team, I would say. So we
That's
do have
good.
these, I wouldn't say misunderstanding, but some brainstorming where we are not able to find a solution. But it's rare actually.
Yeah.
Most often we
And
are able to come to conclusion.
how do you design a campaign? How do you go about a campaign? If you had to do a certain campaign, what are your objectives? Or if you have an objective already set, how do you design a campaign? How do you work on a
We,
campaign?
yeah, so in like any other company, there is a well-planned annual plan, right? You know your annual plan, you know what is that you want to achieve in this particular year. And then if you have to achieve certain thing, you know who are those customers who can give you those results.
Hmm.
Then you have to find ways that how to reach to those customers. Now,
Hmm.
if I define very well, these are my customers. These people are who are, say, people who are having a woman related issue. What kind of issues, if I know? that there are certain 4 or 5 type of issues, and this happens in women who are working in corporate, who are working women.
Hmm.
So in a way, I know that working women in this kind of age group is what my target group, who are staying in certain geographies. Then I know how to reach to these people. Then,
Hmm.
so I know my channels and all that, how, where, which channels I will take to reach to these people. Then I have to compare the competition and I have to map their expectation that this is my service offering and I'm better than my competition, or this is better for you because of this reason. That's what my becomes my communication plan. I reach out to them. I see how well it is accepted by my customer. So based on hit rate and all that, we can actually evaluate if people are really interested. They will read it more. They will come back to us. Inquiries will go up. If it is not, then we have
Hmm.
to change that. So that's how the planning is
Okay.
done.
Hmm.
Very well, you know.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. So, sir, when you design a campaign, do you have any goals? Let's say we have already discussed this in the last question. Any kind of specific strategies towards these goals?
Yeah, yeah. So there are broadly, I would say, there are two types of brand initiatives. So one is
Hmm.
business led, one is brand
Hmm.
led. So
Hmm.
business led is very clear that how much lead you have to generate, how much
Hmm.
people, customers you have to get in. So that is how you design your campaign, and then based on that you plan your communication, right? And the second thing is your brand management, basically. So you do the brand management, building the brand identity of Manipal, something on those lines.
Oh, that's good. So, how has the work changed in the past 18 years? How was your role remains the same of being marketer, helping out with marketing activities of a brand. But how has the work evolved in the last 18 years?
So I would say that role of a marketer has not changed. We have to so the strategies. I mean, the ways have changed, but the base role
Hmm.
has not changed, right? So
Hmm.
I know my customer. I have to make sure that the best services which we offer to our customer, we need to communicate that to our customer, right? And but how do we reach out to our customer? Those ways have changed in last 18 years. So earlier you were using more print medium, you were using a lot of BTL activities, paper insert, SMS blast. Now those has ways are changing. Now you
Hmm.
want to reach out to people who need your service or who are looking at certain type of service. You don't want to unnecessary bother people who are not looking for that service, because anyway they are not interested, right? And that is where your digital channels has actually helping marketers more and more. And uh, so whether it is a Facebook strategy, and again, as I told you earlier, that it is a channel specific strategy which is working best. So there is a channel where people like certain kind of post, because the mood of a person when he is reading, going through LinkedIn versus when he is going through the Facebook, the mood is different. So how you
Hmm.
communicate the same service in two different platforms, it matters, quite a lot, because
Okay.
his to catch the eye of the individual, it really depends on that creative which you put out there. Also,
Okay.
another thing which we are seeing a lot in trend is your videos. So now it is, videos were always in fashion, but consumption has gone up, which is pre Geo and post Geo. We all know the consumption of video has significantly grown, and people like watching videos now more.
Hmm.
But the format of the video has changed. It has come from
Okay.
10 minutes to 10 seconds. YouTube to
Exactly.
TikTok shift, which has happened. And I think it's not easy to communicate what you were communicating in 10 minutes. Now you have to communicate the same in 10-15 seconds. And that is the challenge. So we have actually worked on that. So we are working on those kind of videos which are actually engaging, and where people can actually within 10-15 seconds they can see what they want to see. And then
Okay,
your
okay.
yeah, and then your uh, Vernac is another thing which is really picking up because internet penetration, the tier 2, tier 3 towns is significantly grown. And again, it is because of, economical data prices which we have. Now, what happens is if you see in these, areas, if you put a generic English content, the view is not that high versus if you put a vernacular content,
Vernacular, regional content.
regional content. So
Uh,
that is something which is definitely helping, for a better engagement.
for our audience to understand, regional content is content in regional languages.
Content
So it
in
becomes
yes,
easy for people to understand. It could be any languages of that particular location so that people can identify themselves. The primary example of this is Hotstar. They were able to download, there was 400 million app download just because they started providing content in regional languages. That's the way to go. And sir, now we have while we have spoken about your journey, the way you have done campaign, team management, and everything. Now I want to understand, like, as an organization during this COVID-19, especially when you are into healthcare, you are running one of the largest hospital chains in the country. I think I'm right over there, one of the largest. What are the changes that you are seeing in terms of marketing at present?
so in during COVID, I
Yeah.
think one of the thing we have divided again like phases. We also have had our marketing strategy in three phases, 3-4 phases. And when we started the camp, I mean, we changed our entire marketing strategy. And our marketing strategy was simple that today it is not about any business, it is about helping people who are outside because something on healthcare is what they are looking at. So the phase one where we found was that there was a lot of confusion initially. What is corona? What is symptom? Viral fever, corona? Are they different? Are they same? What all is there? People didn't know about that. So our focus in first week was really to, bust those myths that this is what is corona. You need not to worry about how to kind of let people calm down on those things. Phase two was really on, what do they do? And now they are in lockdown. The initial, uh, uh, health issues started propping up. So when you are at home, what kind of exercises you can do, what kind of, seniors, very, very critical, population, how they can be taken care of. If you are living with your parents, how you should manage the family and all that. So those were our discussion point. In 2 weeks' time, we saw that a lot of calls were coming to our hospital where people were talking about mental wellness. Can I talk to a psychiatrist? Can I
Excellent.
do? So then our week three was focused on that. How do we focus on mental wellness? How do we focus on ergonomics? Because ergonomics was just a second. Ergonomics was one area. When you work from home, now you don't have an office set up in your home, right? So people end up working sitting on sofa, working on their bed, and then there are a lot of these backache, shoulder ache, and these things start coming. So then how do you overcome these kind of challenges? So our broad marketing objective was to connect with people, to connect with our customers, help them out during this lockdown. So there is no anxiety, there is no tension, and also there was a phase in between from the second week is well, after 2 weeks because we have a lot of patients with diseases like cancer and life-threatening
Wow.
disease who come to us. So how do you manage them? Because problem with cancer is that if you don't treat it for 2 weeks, it moves from one stage to another stage. So there are possibilities that patients who are operable, they may become inoperable. So how do you kind of manage those things? And that's when we started our video consultations within 2 weeks time. So how do you connect them back then? video consultations are available. Don't worry, we can take care of this. So then that, right? And then after then, when lockdown started opening up, when they go out, when they visit hospital, what are the precautions they should take? I think it was more about very, very tactical campaigns, very what people need is when you give that is is what is all about marketing actually. So marketing is I am communicating, especially in healthcare, we don't oversell or hard sell anything because it is not taken positively. When I sell an iPhone, I can sell as hard as possible, right? But when I sell healthcare, it is not taken it in a positive light. So, which we are aware of. So we actually have to communicate our
Communicate.
services to the people who need those services, and that is where what we were doing. Uh, you know,
Okay, that's
uh,
good to know that you also maintain the dignity of the institution. You're not trying to oversell, hard sell. It's just the communication and trying to help out people. Because what we see in the television or the outside is like a lot of companies, hospitals for that matter, which it's not good. But people oversell it. It's not about selling. It's about taking care. It's about communicating. Whether they come to you or not, they have to go to clinic first somewhere. Don't come to us, but then go somewhere. But at least get it checked. That's more important. That's called as
no,
taking
so
care. That's
yeah, so that Manipal has a value system, very very strong value system, where we
mm,
when we started our ambulances, we actually
mm,
offered drop anywhere. You don't find hospital ambulance which take patient to any other hospital. They take to only their hospital. But in our case,
mm,
we actually, wherever patient want, we can take them there. But what I'm saying is it's a very strong value system, which Manipal, not only from now, it comes from generations when it was kind of,
mm,
founded. So it travels from that era to this era. But as a marketer, our really job is to maintain that brand image, is to maintain the brand value system and communicate on similar lines. So that was
that's
our
great.
COVID, phase communication. So it was very tactical. Our objective was to engage and communicate what patients were looking at that point of time.
Oh, that's great, sir. And so, what are your message for people who are getting into marketing, especially the new generation is getting into digital marketing? They are doing a lot of courses. If you go to social media and other stuff, you can see a lot of courses being offered. But when you interview the people for a position at your organization, and we found that they don't know anything about it, but God knows what they have learned over there. So, what do you suggest them, to go and learn something from digital about digital marketing, do practice where and how it should be.
So there are many views on this, and one answer may not fit to all, and it really
Mm-hmm.
depends on the individual journey at that point of time and individual's aspiration. So if I
Mm-hmm.
have to put it into two, three part, though it may not be able to answer the complete because individual has to really identify what is good for him. But broadly put, digital marketing is a part of marketing. So one has
Mm-hmm.
to, so as a digital marketer, how can I be successful? So first, basics never change, right? So first I have to understand what is the requirement. Now, if I give you the example of hospital, right? Healthcare. Now I joined healthcare as a digital marketer. First I have to understand what is this hospital out of marketing
Mm-hmm.
and who are my customers, why should I reach to them, what is my objective of this campaign, do I want to
Mm-hmm.
engage with them, do I want to use my service, what I want them to do, accordingly I can choose my channels, accordingly I can choose my communication. So I think again, going back, if you reverse it back, is
Mm-hmm.
knowing the business and then strategizing the business, the rest all answers will come in place. It is not
Mm-hmm.
so. So the guy in digital marketing, he may be knowing about the technical
Mm-hmm.
aspect, but does he know the business aspect? Right? Very
Okay.
critical. Now the second part is that many people go to many courses, and again, what and I don't know, I might be wrong in this, but what I have realized and felt with some few discussions, when someone goes to a digital marketing course, they tell that You go to Facebook, you do this thing will happen, right? This outcome will be there. You you go to Twitter, you can do this kind of marketing, you do the roadblock for the whole day, blah blah blah. Now, as a digital marketer, and I would say nascent digital marketer, when they come back, they start telling all those things to the company that we should do this, we should do that, and we should do that without knowing the requirement of the company. And that is another issue
So
because
instead of giving a specific solution, they give a general holistic solution, which is not.
general solution which may or may not work for that company. We don't
But
know.
for
See
them,
what
in
works because they have been taught that and they think this
yeah,
is kind of, the Brahmastra. It will work everywhere. So,
okay,
which may or may not be true. So, I think again, going back, seeing from as a business guy, that if what is my objective, which thing works where, you know. So, if I have to give you example is, if you are going to join Nika as a digital marketer company, your digital marketing strategy will be very different versus if you are going to join, say, a
a
Shoppers Stop
hospital
or
or
a
a IT company
healthcare
or a retail
brand
company.
or IT company. Yes. So you may be B2B.
Okay.
So, so it's very, very different depending on customers and depending on. So I think digital marketing is a part of marketing, and that's how we should treat it. So we should not
Yes.
miss out on broader understanding of broader strategies. How do we segment our customers? How do we, uh, you know, uh, uh, identify the communication? Do we know about the competition? Who's the competition? And then evaluating them, finding a niche that if you are given a mandate in a hospital and the idea is what you have is already 10 companies are doing, you will be the 11th company to do the same. You may not make that kind of mark. What is that different thing I can do in addition to whatever? I think these are the things
Okay.
which they have to really put across and then plan.
Okay, that's great. So, any memorable campaign, any memorable case study that you can share with us? That's something still that you can remember that you have done.
See, one of the thing which probably I can share also, post the interview is something which we did for our KL campaign. Now I'm sharing this because it is pretty recent one, and this was done uh, for the corona virus. And again, what we did was we brought in some characters from the space or some character from Marvel stories, and we created some acronyms over there that wherein we, in a humorous way, we try to communicate that if you don't follow this, something like this can happen. For example, Corona says that if you don't wear mask, then I see you. So, uh, so, so I see you in ICU.
In
So
ICU.
yeah,
I
so
will
I
see
see
you
you in
in
ICU.
ICU.
Yeah. So something on those lines. These were on the humorous side, whereas other things what we did was there were campaigns wherein we asked people to take quit smoking challenge and join our that platform which we launched, and there was everyday engagement program there. So it was completely online program. People can join from anywhere, and also we ran it for around 45 days, and we saw pretty good engagement because quitting smoking and tobacco is one of the very difficult tasks to do by anyone unless you really have the individuals. But we saw many people coming in there and engaging. So it was a content creation, especially for that program. That what is that 15-minute program, and what are those posts which will go every day? So day one, day two, day three, because your willingness and your ability to control yourself keep on changing on a daily basis. And so it was designed based on that. That a lot of clinical inputs came in, which actually helped us to take that to next level.
Mm.
Sorry, so that was a pretty engaging program from a clinical perspective, if you see
Mm.
that how we kind of helped uh, many people in that. And
That's great. That was more of an awareness program than would say uh,
more
campaign
on
to
awareness,
generate
yes,
more. That's great.
yeah,
That's
more
great.
on
So, any
awareness,
message?
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So any message to youngsters who are just fresh graduates and who might see this year as not so fruitful in terms of their job prospects, or to the people who have lost jobs? Anything that you would like to send a message to them?
See, I would say if you are talking about digital marketing, people who are in this space, there's a very, very great future because this is
Mm.
one space which is growing. And I would say that even in Corona time, not only digital marketing, but I think digital as a space, technology as a space has significantly grown. Now, digital
Mm.
marketing is not only, Facebook and all, but your OTT consumption has gone up and the number of OTT itself is shooting up now significantly.
Mm.
So there is a very, very bright future. And as I told you, within 10 years, 3% to 35% average, I am saying there are many companies who are
Mm.
spending 50% as well. So this percentage has to go increase year on year. And
Mm.
I would say that, be creative, be active, and look for the options which comes and focus on the new areas of innovation in digital marketing. I would say like
Mm.
your AI, what it can help to either acquire customers or to
Mm.
engage customer, whichever way. But your channel specific strategies are very critical. And how do we
Okay.
understand customers? So I think these are the areas which people, but there's a huge opportunity to grow in this area.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We really wanted to, people to actually get the message directly from experts like you. Like digital marketing is just not digital marketing. There are various aspects to it. It's just not about social media or anything like that. There is SEO, there is content, there is blogging, there is UI, UX, video editing, video tutoring, God knows, so many things that are being added every day, every now and then. So that's great to know, sir. So before we end this interview, I would really like to know if there are any openings at your organization that you are taking in, since you handle the marketing department. If people would like to apply at your job, are there any openings for them?
Yeah, so we have a structure which is corporate and unit specific. So
Mm-hmm.
so we can definitely we can look. There is a growing department, and
Mm-hmm.
as and when required, we do add people. Like we are adding in one in Malleshwaram now. So there is one
Mm-hmm.
opening there as we talk, and there might be other opening because we are in Goa, we are in other places. So we have recently added a few people in our units specifically to handle digital initiative, and
Mm-hmm.
this will continue to further grow. So I would
That's
again say that it really depends on uh, the requirement, but because within digital we have specific roles and mandate which goes to people, right? So
that's
whether
right.
it
That's
is
right.
digital international or social, so we do
Mm-hmm.
have, I think people, if there are good people, we would like to, probably work with
Yeah.
them.
And
So
are you open to mentoring people if they really like to get mentored by you? Because after this interview, we will be putting your details like your LinkedIn profile ID as well as your company website. If they would seek some kind of a guidance and mentoring, would you be open to that?
sure, we can look. I mean, I won't be able to answer that immediately, but as and when time permits and how many really people are there, it
Mm.
really depends on that. But broadly basis, we do, I do have interest in helping people out, or whichever way I can
Yeah.
help. I'm
Yeah.
always there
Exactly.
for that. Yeah,
Yeah,
as
I
far
can
as
understand.
commitment is there, that really depends on that time. So, so how many number of people and all that, but
Case to
I
case,
mean,
maybe they
case
will
to case,
contact you on
definitely.
LinkedIn. Definitely.
Definitely.
A lot of people will drop a message. It's impossible to help each and everyone. But depending upon case to case where you can actually accelerate their growth, so that would be helpful for them. Right, sir?
Sure, sure, sure.
Yes,
We are always
that's
here.
good, sir. So I really thankful to you, sir, to coming on such a short notice and giving us this interview. You have really shown some insights in terms of how is marketing in healthcare different from marketing in other spaces as well. It's more about communicating and creating awareness rather than advertising and selling it, and that's how it should be because it's a sensitive subject. End of the day, for a lot of people who are suffering from diseases, so we cannot look forward to make a lot of money out of it. Obviously, it's the costs are involved, but then it's end of the day, it's not in the Indian nature to make money out of someone else's misery, and that's also healthcare. That's something you're handling this very sensitively.
Sure.
I really thank you again, and it's wonderful speaking to you. And if there's a huge demand from people that we want Madhu sir again, I would definitely approach you for it too.
Sure, Sachin. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir. Take care.
Thank you.